Well, hey there, Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Welcome to day 164 of our Get Your Goals Annual Challenge. Today we're talking about financial goals and key indicators with respect to our financial health and well-being, because this whole month we're focusing on the area and aspect of the life framework, a 9-part life framework that I use, that is financial. We've done physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual, not in that order. And this month we're doing financial well-being, financial health. And we define that first day of this month. We created and came up with what is your definition of financial health, financial well-being. And I came up with mine. And we're building that out, and we're putting the little blocks and bricks in place to make sure that we do something every day that moves us toward the big financial goals that we want. Now today we're talking about key indicator number 4, which is debt. We're going to talk about debt just a couple minutes, and as usual, at least since February 1st, you can go into Guide 17 of the Get Up and Go Challenge private Facebook group page, and under that guide you can find today's write-up. I've been doing a write-up using ChatGPT, being really honest there. Sometimes I edit it, a lot of times I don't. Whatever I come up with, I just paste in there. But it's always more information about the topic that we're discussing. There's a lot in there about debt, consolidating debt, how to deal with challenges to reducing debt, etc. Debt, of course, why do we even care about debt? Why do we want to think about it? Why do we want to manage our debt, right? Because there's, just like anything else, good debt and bad debt. Good debt we use, and this is my opinion, you can have your own, of course, but in my vast decades of experience, good debt is debt that we use to pay for assets, things that will generate money or generate some kind of income for us. So if I buy a house and I finance that house and I rent it out and I've got more income coming in from that property than I have expenses going out, that's an asset. Therefore, I would call that good debt. On the other hand, my personal home, if I finance that, that is just an expense. A lot of people say their home is their greatest asset, but really it's our greatest expense until we turn around and we have appreciated in value and sell that, right? So we want to make sure that we're being accurate in our mind in how we define assets, how we define liabilities, how we define income, how we define expenses, and make sure that we're not confusing and mixing up those terms, because if we confuse it in our mind, we'll get mixed results. So why, number one, we want to decide what kind of debts we want to incur. And today, all we're going to do is we're going to look at what is our personal debt situation, where are we at right now, how much credit card debt do we have, if any, how much good debt versus bad debt do we have. And you may or may not want to categorize it that way. I like to, so I'm being real with myself, I, like anybody else, will incur short-term credit card debt in order to get things that I want. But why do we want to manage debt? We want to manage debt for a bunch of reasons, right? Number one, we want to know what our position is financially. Number two, we want to increase our credit score. I am not a fan of credit scores. I think it is I think it's a racket, kind of like insurance, but we all need insurance, that's used to actually manipulate the people, and actually mostly to manipulate people that don't have a lot of assets more than anything else, because the lower your credit score, the higher interest rates different organizations will charge you in order to incur debt. That could be a whole topic for a week-long lecture or discussion or course. We want to reduce financial stress. Guess what? If you have a lot of debt, and I've been there, I've been in situations where I've had a lot of debt. I had a death experience in 2010, and I was not financially prepared for that. And it literally, I incurred hundreds of thousands of dollars of medical bills. And for a while, that debt was pretty stressful, especially following the health event. So we want to manage debt to reduce financial stress and to reduce stress in all areas and aspects of our life. Because as much as we hate to admit it, money is a lubricant, and it makes life run more smoothly in a lot of situations. We want to be able to increase our savings. We want to be able to achieve financial freedom. I don't know about you, but most of us want to achieve financial freedom, meaning we're not dependent on other people to know that we're going to be okay. We're going to have enough to eat, a place to live, clothes to wear, etc., from day to day to day to day, and every day of our life, right? So that's just a couple of the reasons we want to manage our debt. What are some ways and strategies to manage our debt? And again, there's a write-up on this in Guide 17. But let's just touch on a couple. Number one, can create a budget. In business, I've always been very good about creating a budget. In my personal life, I probably shouldn't admit it, but not so much. Pretty much have not had a personal or family budget throughout my lifetime. And sometimes that came back to bite me in the tush. Other times it was just, most times it's been fine. But every once in a while, like the sudden cardiac arrest, that was a time where I wasn't as prepared as I could have and should have been. So you want to create a budget. Again, what that looks like is up to you. You can go online. There's apps. There's all kinds of ways to create a budget. And that is how we go ahead and put in play the income and the expense information that we've been collecting so far. There's something called, well, there's debt consolidation, right? You can go out and you can get a big loan and pay off all your debts. Now, you want to, again, I'm not going to get into how and why you do that, but that's one possible method. There's the avalanche method, which is where you choose to pay off your highest interest rate debts first. Then there's the snowball method, where you pay off your smallest debt first. Doesn't matter what the interest rate is. You pay off the smallest one first so that you can start paying them off one by one by one, and pretty soon they're all gone. And you can meet with creditors and negotiate with your creditors. I've also done that in the past, where I've had to come up with better terms and better payment plans for some of the debts that I incurred. So that's just a handful of ways you can deal with the debts that you have already. The best way to deal with debts is not to get into bad debt situations in the first place. But most of us don't learn that up front. We learn it the hard way by getting into a situation or owing a debt that we have to figure out a way to get ourselves out of. So today, what are we going to do? Action item, just look at your debt situation. What and how much debt do you have? I'm actually in a position now where I don't have a whole lot of debts. Like, I'm trying to think if I have anything. I don't actually currently have any debts. So I'm probably in one of the best positions I've been in my life when it comes to debt itself. Now, you could be saying, well, you could be incurring good debt and making more investments, and that is true as well. All right, that's it. Any questions, hit me up. Otherwise, have a fantastic day, and I will, of course, be with you tomorrow with another financial goal key indicator. We're going to do a few more of these before we get to the end of the month, and then we'll, of course, go through our goal setting process on one specific financial goal. So you might want to start thinking about that. I think I already know mine. I was thinking about it yesterday. All right, see you tomorrow. Bye.